This vessel is capable of fighting air warfare, surface warfare, counter-sea pirates.
With a crew complement of about 270, the USS William P. Lawrence is designed to be sort of a jack of all trades, and missiles on its port side to a big cannon up front. It looks like this destroyer can handle anything from the outside.
On April 23, 2025, radar screens aboard the USS William P. Lawrence suddenly lit up. A cluster of unknown contacts appeared as the destroyer cut through the Taiwan Strait, and it was no coincidence. This wasn't just any day, it was PLA Navy Day. Within minutes, two Chinese J-16 fighters approached, armed with long-range missiles, swooping dangerously close. But what message was Beijing really sending by confronting an American warship in such a risky manner? And why did Washington deliberately choose that exact day to sail a destroyer through one of the world's most contested waters? Stick with us. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video.
The vessel looks ready for combat and ready for a celebration, decked out in red, white, and blue for this Saturday's commissioning.
I like being up on the bridge wings, being out to sea. It's beautiful, sunsets. I also enjoy being in combat.
This is the 60th destroyer of its class, but what makes it unique is its people and its name.
Why would China send in fighters with missiles designed to shoot down aircraft instead of loading up with weapons built to sink warships? That single choice told a story just as clear as the roar of jet engines tearing across the strait. When the USS William P. Lawrence crossed into the Taiwan Strait on April 23rd, the exact anniversary of the founding of China's modern navy, the response came at once. Radar picked up two J-16 fighters lifting off from the mainland, screaming toward the destroyer barely minutes after it appeared in contested waters. Beijing wanted to mark the day with a show of presence, and the timing was deliberate. The fighters didn't just appear on radar and hang back. They pushed forward in a style meant to rattle the crew. One jet dropped to within 36 meters of the Lawrence's starboard side, close enough for sailors to see the pilot's helmet. Seconds later, the other thundered just above wave height at near supersonic speed, unleashing a sonic boom that rattled bulkheads and shook loose vibration panels inside the ship. These weren't mindless flybys. They were precision-rehearsed moves rooted in intimidation and aimed at forcing the Americans to react.
William P. Lawrence. Come Saturday, this massive vessel will officially become an operational warship in the U.S. Navy.
To build what I think is the best ship and best crew in the Navy.
Now, the ship may be the baby of the fleet, but crew members say it packs a mean punch. It is equipped with Tomahawk missiles, sonar systems, an aircraft detection system, and of course, some pretty heavy artillery.
But the most unexpected detail was strapped under their wings. Instead of carrying heavy anti-ship missiles, the J-16s mounted PL-10 short-range and PL-15 long-range air-to-air missiles. The destroyer was not their primary prey. That loadout revealed a different mission: control the skies, box in American surveillance aircraft, and make sure China dictated the tempo of the encounter. If actual combat had erupted, those fighters wouldn't sink the Lawrence. They would try to blind it, deny it air cover, and leave it exposed to other platforms lurking nearby. By equipping the jets for aerial combat, commanders shifted the confrontation away from an immediate shootout at sea and toward psychological pressure from above. Airspace dominance was the message. You may sail here, but we own the skies. The tactics reflected that choice. The fighters bracketed the destroyer, one to the north and one to the south, cutting across its projected path in a dangerous scissors maneuver that forced constant course adjustments. They cycled electronic interference pulses toward the ship's radars in short bursts, not enough to jam completely, but enough to remind the crew their sensors were under watch. Cameras locked on the vessel at low-altitude runs, recording deck activity and antenna alignments for intelligence analysis back on the mainland. Every second of those passes provided Beijing with valuable technical data about how an American ship responded under pressure. Then came the second axis, The Lawrence's lookouts reported a shadowing vessel on the horizon, a Chinese Type 052D destroyer, a ship nearly equal in size and power, trailing just outside engagement range. Its presence turned the skirmish multidimensional. Now the Americans faced a dual-domain squeeze, multi-role fighters above, a Tier 1 surface combatant tracking below. A lone ship in those waters never expects an easy day, but facing simultaneous air and sea harassment puts pressure on command decisions, communications, and crew stamina. Overwhelming a single destroyer doesn't always require actual weapons fire. It's the constant multi-direction strain that can push a warship closer to making a mistake. Veering off course, misidentifying a radar contact, or responding with force at the wrong moment.
And I get that honor.
After the ceremony, the ship will head to its home port in San Diego, California to report for duty.
To serve on it, to be the first crew member on board. I'm a plank owner. To have that for the rest of my life.
Beijing's choreography that morning sought exactly that collapse of discipline. The proximity of the fighters, the buzzing maneuvers, the maritime shadowing. It wasn't random bravado. It was layered pressure designed to test the limits of American endurance. Yet against these staged provocations, the Lawrence never broke its posture. The crew remained on full readiness stations, weapons manned but not aimed, antennas sweeping but not fixated. Orders emphasized steady responses, no radio chatter, and no sudden signaling back to the Chinese destroyer. In other words, restraint itself became the counter-weapon. Instead of feeding the narrative Beijing had set up, the ship denied the provocation any drama. It held tension without release, which in many ways sent the stronger message that intimidation would not provoke American escalation. What played out on the surface then wasn't a contest of who had more missiles in the chamber, but of who could manage the flow of information with the most discipline. Sensors, communications, footage captured on both sides. All of it fed into higher-level assessments that would play out long after the Lawrence cleared the strait. The real exchange of power that day took place quietly, in the unseen intelligence collected across those narrow waters. The April 23rd encounter showed that modern deterrence isn't always tied to missile ranges or the number of ships on station. Restraint and the ability to gather intelligence calmly under pressure proved just as decisive as firepower. Both navies left with more data than they arrived with. And in great power rivalry, that kind of collection shapes the next move. But how long can discipline hold when machines close within meters at supersonic speeds? Is silence enough to prevent disaster, or is one slip all it takes? For deeper coverage of these naval face-offs, subscribe now. Future security depends on them.